Hi, third graders. You have been doing a lot of work recording your reading in your reading logs. And yesterday we had you take a look in your reading log and see if you could find some patterns in your reading, because we're going to be setting some reading goals based on what we see. Many of you noticed that you're not reading as many pages as you might have thought. And I even had one student give me an email and say, Mrs. Sue, I'd really like to be able to read longer and stronger. So I thought I would share a list of some tips that I have for helping you read longer and stronger when you're doing your independent reading. Okay, here's my list of tips for reading fast, strong, and long. My first tip is to read with your eyes, not using your finger or a bookmark. When you were beginning readers, you learned to point under the words, whispering them to yourself. And you may have even used a bookmark under the line of text you were reading to make sure you kept your place. Those are great strategies for when you're just starting to read, but now that you've been reading for a while, they start to slow you down. So put them away, just like you put away your training wheels on your bike, and start trying to read with just your eyes. Are you ready for tip number 2? Don't keep looking back. As long as you understand the basics of what's going on in the story, you can just keep reading forward instead of rereading and looking back all the time. Sometimes readers worry that they've dropped a detail or missed a fact, but usually the best thing to do is keep on reading and you'll figure it out as you go. Oops. My last tip for you is to read with expression. That means to read with more feeling. You can practice this by rereading parts of a story that you especially love with that storyteller's voice that we learned about in writing today. Okay, readers, we're going to write this list of tips in our reading notebook now so that we'll always have it with us to remind ourselves how we can become fast, strong, and long readers. So go get your reader's notebook and be ready to copy it down with me.
Okay, readers, I've grabbed my reading notebook and I'm ready to copy down my list of strategies. I'm going to open to the first blank page after the last thing we did, which was, in my class at least, we made a list of the signs to watch for when choosing books. So my next blank page is this page here after it. I'm going to title this page the same that I saw on the chart that I showed you on my computer. Reading fast, long, strong, and long. I want you to get out your reading notebook and copy this along with me. Remember, you can always pause the video if I end up going too fast. And then on the chart that I showed you, they did a picture of a little barbell to remind themselves that they're talking about getting stronger, just like we make our muscles stronger with a barbell. So I'm going to do the same thing. And you can't tell right now because you can only see my notebook, but I'm actually looking at my computer screen to copy down what I had on the chart that I showed you. So you can be looking at your computer screen also to see the chart, if that's helpful for you. Or you can just keep watching me in my notebook. Okay, the first tip, I'm gonna skip some lines here so that it doesn't get super crowded and messy, and I'm gonna do a bullet point for our first tip. The first tip was read with your eyes, not using your finger or a bookmark. Now I'm gonna put that in my own words so that I remember it better in my head and what it means to me. So I'm just going to say, read with my eyes, not my finger. And then I'm going to draw a picture of my eyes reading a book. You can draw pictures if they help you remember the tip, but if the pictures are stressing you out, then don't worry about them. They don't have to be perfect. I'm copying the picture from the chart that I showed you. Okay. Then I'm going to skip another line under where my picture ended to do my next bullet point. The next tip was don't keep looking back. So I'm going to write read forward, not backward. Or you can just write don't keep looking back, whatever works for you. I'll add in the book. Read forward, not backward in the book. And then I'm going to copy the picture that the chart had. It's another picture of a book. With an arrow going forward. Remember, this is another reminder that if I'm going too fast for you, you can pause the video and copy it in your notebook as you go. And then the final tip, and I think this is a super important one, this is what keeps me interested in my reading. I'm going to skip a line, do another bullet point, and the final tip was read with expression. I'm going to keep that with the same words because that already means something important to me. In fact, I'm even going to add or feelings. Feelings. Okay. And they used some masks on their bookmark. That doesn't mean very much to me, so I'm just going to do some feelings. A heart kind of represents feelings to me. Maybe I'll do an exclamation mark because when we see exclamation marks in our books, we know to read stronger. Okay, readers, so now you can see I have this list nice and clear in my notebook so that while I'm reading and using my notebook, I'll come across this list and I'll have it to remind me how I can work on reading fast, strong, and long.
Okay, third graders, that's it for today. I want you to remember every time you do your reading from now on, try to read fast, strong, and long so that you can get as much reading done as you can. You can read with your eyes, not with your finger or a bookmark. You can only read forward. Try to keep going forward as much as you can instead of always turning backward. And you can read with lots of expression to keep yourself interested in the book. Happy reading.